So, girlfriend, wife?
I am now.
I think
He interrupted our conversation.
he's rude. He's very rude.
I just thought I'd let you know.
I'm capable of it.
He bumped my chair coming in and didn't even say, excuse me.
This is important.
Bill, is that working?
Yeah, I hear it.
He's just afraid that it was like scrap paper. And you might say something.
Ain't nothing.
Mike, say something?
Because you guys meet
I'll have to look.
9:30. I gotta make that material list for the bridge.
But at any rate, I figure if we put a camera at the entrance, and once they come in and it comes on, I mean, it's gonna have to be something that you can network with this, because we don't have any kind of consistency in internet there, so. And I can't find a budget for it. I've looked. I can't get nobody to pay the bill, so that being said, I mean, I've even asked some of the friends that I know that are actually community-minded, they don't want the constant bill. If it was just a thing, it'd be all right, but not a monthly bill.
Well, we'll talk about that when this is over. I got something to think about.
Okay.
All right, Rodney.
Morning. Morning, Rodney.
Hi.
How are you?
Not real good, to be honest with you.
Well, you've been like that for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. I'll call this meeting of the Lawrence County Solid Waste Management District to order. It's 8:30 a.m. on September 23rd, 2025. First item on the agenda is approval of the previous minutes.
Motion to approve as presented.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And the motion carries. Next item is the approval of claims for the period.
I'd move to approve as presented.
Have a motion
I'll second that.
and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. And I want to make note that, you know, we had approved the signature on DocuSign for the claims, and I've had terrible time trying to get logged onto that, and I've reset passwords and done everything. It's not working, so I'm just going to, as they need claims signed, I will just go down and sign them for them. So, next item is the district director's report.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to turn to page 10 in your agenda. We'll start off at the top there on item A, the 2026 budget. Just wanted to give you some updates on that. We had a public hearing recently at the county council meeting, and our next meeting with the council will be on Thursday, I think that's correct, Thursday, October the 7th at 4:30 for a budget adoption. And then at this meeting, I kind of wanted to bring up, just as a matter of discussion, of what we may be looking at for our salary and wage resolution that we'll plan to adopt sometime in November or December. And we'll just start off with, the plan is to eliminate the anniversary increments as of January 1, 2026. That's what I understand that the county is going to be doing as well. And with that elimination of those anniversary increments, the question is with all of our hourly positions that we have, what will that one starting rate be? I was wondering, right now we have the option of bringing someone in with up to 5 years' experience. So it would be nice to have something incorporated where for those hourly employees, for instance, like our drivers, instead of having at this beginning base rate, at least have a 5-year leeway where when we hire them in, we can give them credit for up to 5 years. And right now, we have that option. So if we had any type of a table, it wouldn't be an anniversary increment, it would just be a table that we could have for at least 5 years' experience. As it stands now, that's what we can do. So just something to consider and think about if we want to do that, instead of just having just one beginning rate for all those positions. I'll use a driver as an example. Trying to get a driver in at whatever our beginning rate can be challenging without being able to give them some experience to bring them in for that job. So
One question on that. Now the increments that you're talking about is yearly. What you're talking about now is the scale, correct?
So, yeah.
We have a scale. County has a scale.
It's not for hourly employees, I don't think.
Yes.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Because that is based on school, that's based on experience, that's based on years of service, and that scale is A through E, I think, Sam. Am I correct on that?
That's right.
You remember?
Yeah. So I think I know what you're saying based on years,
Yeah.
levels and such.
Yeah.
But it's just an annual salary. It doesn't give you an hourly rate for those, does it? I don't.
It doesn't give you that. That falls under salary ordinance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll look at it closer, and I've actually been communicating with it was brought to my attention that one of the departments, the highway, may be looking at a percentage, and so that was one of the next things I was going to discuss as well. The hourly rate, we're going to consider a percentage increase for these employees. Originally, in our budget, we didn't discuss that, but subsequent to that, I'd heard that there may be a potential where the highway department may be doing something there. We normally coordinate with what the highway department does for our employees. We have some positions that are matching theirs as far as hourly rates. So I was kind of following that, and at this point, Rick, was it 3%?
That 3%'s already been voted on preliminary on the budget.
Right.
I mean, that's already been voted on now page by page by page, but that will not become final until the budget adoption.
Right, yeah, so just to keep that in mind, when we go to adopt that salary and resolution ordinance.
One other thing, because I asked Martha about this yesterday, where there was no wage increase for you guys in the budget, that's as advertised, she says that it can't happen.
It can or it can't?
It cannot happen,
Cannot
according to
happen.
Martha.
And I haven't had a chance to talk to her, but usually what we've done in the past is we've just done a transfer, because if we have enough appropriation somewhere within our budget, we could do a transfer. So for instance, we have X amount of dollars for health insurance within those 100s, and we normally have cushioned that enough, to where we could do a transfer there and have enough money. So I guess technically you could transfer money within that, but I'd have to check with her to verify that.
Within those series of budget numbers?
Yes.
Are you still looking at giving a stipend with it also?
Well, is that what
As
the,
of right now, the stipends are still good.
Michael, my thing is, and we've done this with the city, is if you give a raise and you got to incorporate in your 27 and 28 budget, and we don't know what those numbers are going to be, why don't you give a larger stipend and not try to give the raise, because the stipend's a one-time hit. And if next year the numbers go down, then we don't have to cover the wage increase that we know we're gonna have to.
Continually, yeah.
Yes, because I would go like a 3% for a $50,000 employee, you're only looking at $1,500. So maybe you give them a $5,000 stipend instead of a $3,000 stipend, and that's a one-time deal.
One time.
Where it's not figured in your 2027 budget, that nobody knows in this room or anyplace else that knows what that budget numbers are gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we did, right, Sam?
Yeah,
Sam?
so I was curious, I apologize, I'm not up to date on some of the other county business. But, so you're talking about a 3% raise for, I guess,
Highway only.
Highway only because it's motor
Highway
vehicle
only.
highway money.
well, that was my question, because we've talked here about our shortfall as far as revenue, where the money was coming from for county
Absolutely.
highway, that's coming from MVH. And
Yes.
that's probably money that's probably not going to be affected possibly by a revenue loss, which is, to me, is a big difference than what we're facing where our budget is with solid waste.
It's not general fund money. That's how
No,
this
that's
was sold
NVH.
to the council
Right.
and how I believe it can be justified. I'll put it
That
that
makes
way.
sense, that's, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that, because I have to agree with Larry, I mean, to me, for this budget, if you want to look at anything, would be to look at some type of possible stipend, rather than to put in a 3% or whatever you want to, and then depending on what shortfalls we have, then for the
Yeah.
next 2 years, not being able to fund it, and have to try to change the levy, or
Right,
Yeah,
have no idea where we're going.
right.
Because as I understand from what Rick and everybody's told me, you're probably gonna lose your lit funding here just in another year. And that's, what, 50,000 a month or something, isn't it, with you? Or
I'm
you
not-
heard the 30 or 50, I forget.
Yeah, I don't have the number in front of me here, but,
But also on that county stipend, it's, the first 500, I guess, is pretty much guaranteed for full-time employees. But if a certain revenue hits in June, is that
July
correct?
and August.
July?
More
But
of
they're
August.
probably gonna let that one go again, if that one comes in again, which would be a sizable raise in and of itself, in my opinion.
like a secondary one in addition, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we have until probably December, we're gonna wait for the county to adopt theirs to see what they've done as far as what will end up, I guess, what the board decides maybe. But I've got to look at our financials a little closer before I would even make a recommendation as well. I'd mention here at the end of this that, you know, like you said, the lit, and not knowing what's gonna happen there, you know, maybe the stipend is a better course to look at. Just in the past, what we generally done is followed in line with what the highway department is, but whatever, you know, we may have to go a different route just depending on what we might see in loss of revenue, so. And then the other position, which we'd already put in the budget for this, was the controller had a wage adjustment for some additional responsibilities, which I've already discussed that in previous meetings, and that's already within the budget.
I was curious, Ron, you listed these as additional job duties, I take it. Are these new things that's just occurred, or who's been doing this in the past?
I've been doing some of that annual financial report. Now, we still are working together, but she has a lot more involvement in it than she's ever had in the past. The controller position generally hasn't done a lot with this annual financial report, but she's a lot more highly involved in working on that annual financial report. And then also the capital assets inventory. That's something that, you know, with our recent State Board of Accounts audit, that she's maintaining that she hasn't had to do that in the past as well, so.
But these are job duties that you've done in the past then?
Yeah, I've been doing the inventory and a little bit of the financial report, but her and I both are doing the financial report now, so.
Does that mean we're
State
the,
Board of Accounts, that report is my responsibility,
yeah.
and we found that out in January.
Okay, so we're just talking about shifting job duties then from your position to her position?
For the inventory, and then we'll both be doing the financial report, so.
so does that mean we cut 1,200 out of your pay?
There you go.
Yeah.
So, again, this is, basically, I just want to kind of touch base on it to let everybody know this is things we probably need to be thinking about before we get to that point and looking at, and we'll be following what the county does to see what you do as well, so.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move over to same page here at the bottom, item B, the transfer station floor maintenance project. I just received the evaluation report and recommendation report from Universal Design yesterday. I've kind of briefly looked over it. I included some information. I'm just going to summarize. I've not really had a chance to touch base with my engineer yet. So in giving you all this information, my plan is to talk to him here sometime this week or next week and kind of rehash this again at our next board meeting. So the first thing I wanted to do on page 10 is just give you a historical overview. The project that was done before on this floor topping was completed in 2009. According to the engineer in the report, there was 2 inches of concrete floor hardener that was put on that existing floor at that time. I'll turn over to page 11. Under the existing conditions review, they come out and looked at the floor along with a representative from the floor topping that we were looking at putting on that floor, and even an existing floor. And it said that their evaluation showed excessive wear areas approximately 10 foot by 10 foot in each of the tipping floor bays closest to the metal wheel stops. That's where you're going to get most of your wear there. And then there was approximately an 8 foot by 8 foot area at the north tipping bay that was cracked, and movement was noticed when the backhoe traveled over this area, which I wasn't really aware of that. And then it looks like over a period of 16 years, the floor has worn approximately 1.5 inches at the north tipping bay and approximately 1 7/8 inch at the south tipping bay, where those excessive wear areas are. And you'll notice the picture there at the bottom of page 11, I think that's showing you the south tipping bay. And then over to page 12, it's showing you the north tipping bay, a picture of that. And again, according to the report, the original depth of the floor topping was 2 inches. The report also said they anticipate within 2 to 5 years the existing floor topping will be worn to a level below the front edge of the flat steel plate at the wheel stop. I did ask the engineer how much of the floor area are they recommending to be repaired when it is. Looks like our total square footage that we have for the floor is 1,065 square feet. And the area for replacement is approximately 700 square feet. Turn over to page 13. They explain in here about what they would want to do as far as the replacement, but number 4 on page 13, it says the repairs would be done in 2 phases to allow one bay to be operational at all times. The anticipated downtime for each bay would be 6 to 8 weeks, which that's almost a long period of time. This allows for a month of removal and replacement of the new floor and a month cure time before normal operations can start on that floor. It is recommended this would be done between the months of March and November due to the installation temperatures requirements for that floor topping. The cost estimate for this, again, this is the engineer's cost estimate, is $155,000. And again, I've not had a chance to really touch base with him. I just want to know if anybody has any comments or questions of the information that they provided. I plan on get some more information from him before our next meeting, so. All right, if you'll turn over to page 14. One of the areas we were looking at, in addition to, we talked about transfer station fees. When we look at generating more revenue in the event that we're going to see some revenue reductions due to Senate Road Act 1. One area that we were looking at was the compost facility fees. So I'll just give you a breakdown here, and this is for informational purposes. We're not ready to make any recommendations at this point. This is 2024 data, so the revenue that we received from compost facility fees was $15,396. The cost for us to have grinding done last year was $27,835. Of that amount, what we did at Murray Park was $16,275, and at the compost facility, it was $12,445. So you can see that our difference in money we're bringing in as opposed to what we were spending out. We're not even breaking even. At the bottom is our compost facility spreadsheet for 2024. You'll notice in the grayed area, that's going to be the items that we have charged for, and you can see the revenue that we generated from each one of those. Looks like brush is generating the highest amount of revenue, and that brush, if it's over 200 pounds, Edwin, is it $20 a ton? Yeah, so over 200 pounds is $20 a ton. And then under 200 pounds, you'll notice in the white down there, there's no charge. So that's the way it's set up now. We don't charge if it's under 200 pounds. For those no charges, you can see there were 696 loads of brush under 200 pounds. There were no charges. We had mixed yard waste. There was 182, but there were no charges. So it looks, to me, it looks like there's some areas we could generate some revenue there where we're not actually charging at this point. So I'm planning on collecting more information and data and presenting that at a near future meeting as far as a recommendation, what we could do there as well, so. And again, I think we discussed this at one of our meetings, is at this time, I guess we wouldn't want to act on any additional fees until we kind of seen what our loss was. I don't know how much more information we're going to be getting from DLGF as far as what we could lose. They give us some estimates already. I'm not sure at what point the board wants to consider looking at these fees. I can touch base with DLGF again, look at our finances before I make a recommendation, but, are we looking at waiting till next year, or are we looking more of thinking about sometime this year before we look at implementing any new fees? I just want to hear any comments on that.
I would think that it need to go back through DLGF and look at that first. But then this late in the year, brush is pretty well, a lot of it with that -6 storms. But started in January, due to rate increases in January.
And I can touch base with them again, and right now they're giving us some estimates, but, and I think they're showing estimates out a couple of years of what we might see with the levies, loss in that, but again, with lit as well, that's a number there, so I need to run some numbers and kind of get a general idea of what that might look like over the long run before we actually, I guess, make a recommendation, so. All right, well, that's.
Kind of in limbo until somebody finally breaks the glass and lets something run out so we know what we're doing. And I have no idea when that's going to be.
Yeah.
The other issue as part of it is with what's being speculated at this time, we don't know what the legislature might try and change
Right.
this year in 27 or 26 or 27, either one. And
Right.
It's kind of a year-by-year basis to kind of see where our feet land and then try to see where we go from there.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing nobody has talked about, or I haven't read anything about it, is the state's income level. And I firmly believe that the few little tidbits that I'm hearing, state income levels are really good compared to what they had anticipated. So there's a chance that all of this might not be as drastic as what we think it is, but.
It's hard to say. I know when Martha got her first thing done, after she got April's numbers and presented it, the county itself was proposed to lose $650,000 in property tax. the time the circuit breakers kicked in, that number's slightly over 1 million now. It's actually went up, what we're gonna lose, from what she was telling me just a day or two ago. So that's gonna change some things, I'm sure. One question I would ask, just for clarification, on the Saturday transfer station, I've been told that they're not accepting large loads of construction debris. Is that factual or not factual?
That has not changed.
At the scale, yeah, I've not heard anything.
No, they should be accepting the normal stuff. Up until 11:40, it should be exactly what it was before.
Yeah.
Well, you might check into that, because
Okay.
I've been told that's not the case.
Have we had any problems with the new time change?
I don't think we have. I think it's run pretty smooth. He was asking if we had any problems with that new time change.
The first Saturday was a little crazy, but after that, you get a rhythm down. We did at one point in time have to shut the intake, and that may occur because they lined up, they rushed in there and they lined up and it was back to almost the scale house where you can't get people out. Might have been for 10 minutes or so to spawn, but other than that, it went pretty smooth.
And I think over at the trash compactor, they're on Mitchell Road, we were concerned about that, but I think everything's worked out over there as well. So. All right.
Anything else for Ron?
I'm still skeptic on the floor replacement, but that's just me. Been around concrete too many years, but I've seen it work out there. I've seen the operation. They're not having any issues, but I'm still a little skeptic on the floor, so.
I agree with you on that, Larry. I think you can replace that rubber on that backhoe.
For $155,000, I can buy a lot of rubbers for the backhoe.
Yeah.
But
Larry, I was curious on that because I don't think there's any floor drains in that out there, but that floor's got pitch on it for drainage. And that, without seeing that whole floor, I mean, I know that, well, one, even 1.5 inches and that distance is too much. But that floor's gotta have drainage pitched one way or another. Is that pitched out? Where's it pitched to?
It should be pitching to the wheel stop for that liquid to drain
They
to.
pitched it back in.
Yeah, it should be. And again, I think at this point, I mean, I feel like there's obviously nothing we need to act on at this given point in time. I would agree with what you're saying as well. It's really held up really good. I just want to touch base with him, see what he says, and, just cover it the next meeting, so.
Have you been out and seen a little bit of concern I had, so they talk about the backhoe in there, and the concrete shifting, have you been out and witnessed it?
I haven't, that's a new thing, in this report, that's the first thing I've ever heard of it, so, Tommy and I've never heard anything. So I'll have to check into that as well and see what they say about that. I'm not familiar with that. And they talked about to fix that area, they wanted to remove it all the way down to even beyond the existing floor.
Well, it sounds to me like the base has some damage to it, not just the surface.
In that instance.
It wouldn't be moving if the
That's my
base.
concern, that eventually could turn into a bigger problem. If there's a problem there now,
Yeah.
that needs to be checked on.
Yeah. And I'll touch base with him, and I'll see what he says, and I'll report back at the next meeting, so.
Has the floor visibly cracked at this point on that side?
There's some cracks that have been there since it's been installed, I think just standard concrete.
Standard concrete?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a relief, the relief joints have been cut.
It's
Yeah.
hard to imagine it could be undermined enough you could see it moving without
Yeah,
the
that's-
concrete crack.
right.
And that's kind of hard to feature, but
Yeah.
anything's possible in this day and age, I guess.
Whenever they first installed it and they came back and did their inspection, I think there was a few hollow points underneath that floor topping, and they came in later and injected something underneath it to get it.
That's my suggestion, is drill a hole if you had to and inject it and fill in the voids
Yeah.
without taking out good concrete and just filling the voids underneath it.
You can actually raise the level of the concrete doing that.
You can?
Yeah.
You sure can?
Okay, keep us informed.
Yep, will do.
Next on the agenda is the controller's report, and you have a copy of that in front of you. Any questions? Okay. I'd move to, I'd accept a motion to approve.
Make the motion.
Have a motion,
Second.
second. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any old business? Any new business? Public comment period. I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.
What's the internet?
Yeah, it's Crane for down there at Westgate. Get that over with, then come back and,